Okay. We have two speakers today, actually. One of them is Sei Touthang and his wife Ching are both here. They're members of our church, have come to our class a lot, and they previously Sei had gotten his Master of Divinity from the International Theological Seminary in Los Angeles, and then he completed his doctorate here at ORU, and he served on Yale Avenue's staff for about 13 years before coming over here. So today he is going to give us an update on their mission trip to Manipur. Manipur, yes. And you guys both grew up there, right? You're from there? So anyway, welcome Sei and Ching.
Good morning. And this, don't tell another class. This class is the best. I'm so grateful today for Bill and the leadership team to have this opportunity to report. This is a reporting. As you know, last year, Ching and I went to Manipur and help out people that are suffering. I think last year I showed some pictures that there was a persecution, communal conflict in Manipur, India. Over 200 people die, and then more than 300 churches burned down, including the church that I pastor in India. And over 10,000 houses have been burned, including the house of my elder sister and two of her sons. And then we have 60,000+ people displaced, including three of my sisters and my brother and Ching's brothers and her parents. So it's been personally affected us. But by God's grace, we were able to pray and help them. And you will see the hospital that we are able to renovate it last year, and then the blankets that we were able to give away last year just before the winter. And so this is a thank you to all of you for being a part of that. And finally, before we play the video, by God's grace, we have been to different places, been to Malaysia, Singapore, Ethiopia, India, and wherever we went, in Harvard Avenue Christian Church has been a part of that. And you may not know it, you may not been there, but it's been so good to talk about where we come from and where we belong to. And so we are so proud of Harvard Avenue Christian Church. So please continue to pray. And finally, the tutoring program that we have been doing here, we changed the format. And now it is happening in the homes. So we send teachers to the homes of the students so there will be a better quality education. But then we will do that once in a month. We all come here and have fun, eat, play. So that will happen this Friday. And we are going to do that every month. And so now, let's watch this video, and then I will come back, and then have a 1 minute, and then conclude my time. Thank you, Betsy.
My name is Gary, and I'm standing here on behalf of all my people here today. And I'm taking this special moment just to say a big thank you to International Love Ministry for all the love, care, and support that you have given us. We are really in depth with all the gift that we have received today, and we want to say thank you very much, and may God bless the ministry. And also I would like to say thank you to Uncle Sei and Auntie Ching for coming all the way here, bearing us with all the trouble. So we are very thankful, and we will continue to pray for them, and also we will pray for the ministry as well. May God bless the ministry, and thank you very much for all the love and support. Thank you.
Praise the Lord. We have been praying, and we have been looking for this time the past several months, and today I am here, right here in the Kangpokpi Mission Hospital. Our prayer has been answered, and this hospital have touched life, you have impacted life, you have transformed life. They express their gratitude. They couldn't thank enough what this hospital has done for them. Many people have received healing, and many people have received lots of blessing from this. And so once again, I would like to thank all the donors. Thank you so much for your generosity, and may God bless you as we touch life and as we reach out to more people. So once again, people from this hill area, the hill people, the Kuki Joe people, express their gratitude to everyone that make possible for this hospital to once again function as it would be. May God bless you all. Thank you.
This is one of the relief camps. I don't know why they kept showing my eating. I did not eat that much. Some of you might be wondering why, showing the eating part. That was the first time they had meat for the last 4 months. And so we killed a big cow. And then we couldn't provide 8,000 that came together, but we called all the pastors and leaders and then provided. And so they really enjoy. Now, Ching and I will be traveling again. We're going to leave Tulsa on October 25th, and we'll be in Chicago for 3 nights, and I'll be preaching in one church in Chicago. Then we fly to India, and we'll go and visit my mother-in-law's gravesite. We'll be there 3 nights, and then fly to another state, and then we'll be there teaching and preaching Saturday and Sunday. Then we fly again to another place. Then we'll visit Ching's brother gravesite. Have not been there because of the Manipur situation. Then we fly to this place. This is where we are going to have a seminar for pastors and Christian leaders. And if we can, we are planning to do at least 2 or 3 different locations in that area. So please continue to pray for us. And right now we are working on finishing up the multi-purpose community center. It is located near the hospital that we just finished, and so this will be a place for displaced believers to attend worship services, and then also if they need gathering for funeral service or maybe wedding and any gathering, they can use that. So that's what we are doing now, and then also we'll be providing seminar to pastors and Christian leaders. So please pray for us. The situation is still remain the same. There's still killing and burning. It's in a way not very safe, but just pray for us, for God's protection. We want to go and be there and then just encourage and motivate people over there. So if you want to know more information, there's a flyer here. Please keep praying for us. And then there's a brochure, information about International Love Ministries. Once again, thank you so much, and really, really appreciate, and God bless you. And thank you for being a part of this. And be beyond your imagination. You have encouraged us and motivate us. Because of you, we are able to go out, step out beyond our comfort zone, and then do a little thing that God has asked us to do. So once again, thank you. God.
It's a question, really, and I don't want to cut into Connie's time, but I'm concerned. There was a scene where, I guess during the prayer and fasting, and it showed some women or people, and there was like a kicking. Was that like casting out the devil? They weren't brutalizing those. I just want clarification, because I don't want the wrong idea. That's my guess. Just a quick.
That was a kind of drama that in the city, when this fighting started, they were doing that to the people. The killing, kicking, and torturing. This is what we had gone through in the city before this happened. So there was no demon poses or nothing. Yeah, reenactment. Okay, yeah, that's it. Yeah. Yeah.
All right, thank you, Sei. Appreciate that. We'll be thinking about you and Ching on your mission trip, and hopefully everything works out all right for you. So. Okay, at this time, I'll introduce Connie, our co-education chair, to come up and give us a little bit of
I love co-education chair. Yeah, mine is, are you going to flip for me? Oh, thanks. So when we heard that Sei and Ching were going to make a presentation, it seemed like it wasn't going to be a class time filled. And Mark and I were on a mission trip. Not really. doing a play on words right now, but we were on a trip in California, so I thought now, after seeing what Chen's been doing, this seems rather light. What I'm going to be showing you is much more interesting for the use of the church, but also the mission part. So I'm Connie McFarland. For new people, I'm an architect for 50 years. I'm very old. And also, I'm the founder. 5 years ago, I founded Urban Sketchers Tulsa, which is an international group. There's 477 chapters in the world. But we're the Tulsa chapter, and we get together and sketch together. And that's once a month, and we go great places. But because of that, forever on our vacations, I would always take a pen and pencil and sketch pad and draw while other people were doing whatever they were doing. And so that was just a natural fit for me. And in 2014, I read an article in National Geographic Traveler about the California missions and how the state of California and all the Catholics were doing the best they could to preserve them. There are 21. So I made it my mission to try to draw all of them. And so by draw, I can impress it that they could take blankets, that many, 1,200 blankets, to draw. Basically, I take just a little camp stool and a sketch pad and a thing of water, and I go camp somewhere, set out. Many of these I'm in the middle of a cemetery or somewhere like that by myself for a couple of hours drawing. But I'm not a professional artist. Just so you know, in my profession of architecture, I never drew anything. I was always the practice manager or the contract negotiator, or primarily yelled at contractors. Is Tom here? I hope not. Tom Maxwell and I know each other well. But anyway, it was our 50th wedding anniversary. Mark and I were married, and it was our idea. And you have to be thankful for a mate that will go with you to draw every day for 5 days, 6 days in California. So again, I'm going to play on words because really, truly, while I was there, I was sending pictures back saying that I was on a mission trip in California, but I was really painting a mission or two a day. And again, I want to connect that to where this ends up, because in our education committee, it was asked, not really, they didn't ask if our church was a mission, but I'm kind of thinking our church is a mission. So I'm hopefully going to weave all this together, and you'll agree at the end of my research on how we're using the building. Who all's using our building? How often they're using our building? This answers Janet Briggs' question, who's using our building? And I thought, put it down on my notes, and I thought it would be a good infill to fill this time together talking about missions. So the first slide is San Luis Obispo. Now, this trip was focused on Central Coast, California. And so there are 5 of them really close there. And so this sketch took me about 2 hours, perfect environment. Now, some of you are wondering, what is Mark doing while I'm sitting out on a park bench? He's touring. He actually tours all of them. He knows more about the history of every mission than I do because I'm out front painting them. But he talks to all the docents, and then he'll go find a nice restaurant, and then he'll bring me lunch usually. But I must tell you, just you're in kind of like with it. And you know, Betsy, I can't tell what slide I'm on with you. Have that down there.
Is that watercolor?
Yeah, that's a watercolor. So that's my hand. That's it. Mine should have had a manicure before I did the picture, but Betsy, is this going anywhere?
Here, I'll just do it.
Yeah, go up. So, oh yeah, but now I'm in big trouble. I got to get my other notes because you have I can't read. So basically, there's 4 definitions of mission. I asked chat. You know, chat. How many of you have Chat GPT?
Yeah.
Yeah, you just ask chat. Okay, so this one is, and this is definitely what we just saw the video on. It's a religious or humanitarian effort, a project undertaken by a religious group to spread faith, provide services, or offer assistance. This can also refer to a place where such activities occur, like in a missionary mission. And then, this is interesting, because I always tell people my mission is to paint missions, which is kind of funny, but it's a personal sense of purpose or calling. It's a deep conviction or goal that someone feels driven to fulfill, often connected to personal values or ambitions. For example, my mission is to capture all the missions along the coast of California with a hand sketch drawing. They're almost 300 years old. Some of them are 250 to 300. And you know, my buildings don't last that long, and I honor the building for, now, my friends in California don't really honor some of the things that the mission was about, but that's a different discussion. So here they are, they stretch all the way from San Diego, all the way up to Sonoma. I love that drawing in the middle. It kind of shows the church. You can imagine our church. I'm going to show you a picture of our church in just a little bit. But they always have a lovely garden space, a lovely space to go outside and be with nature. And those of you who have lived in California probably lived across the street from one. I know is Kathy here? She was Kathy Leonard. Yeah, they just came back. I talked to her yesterday. But basically, I started in 2014 and sketched the first one, which was Soledad. And it was in the middle of a broccoli field, and they were harvesting broccoli when I was there. So it was really, they're everywhere. So this is Fry my next door teacher, my next door neighbor teaches Spanish. So this is Junipero Serra, Fry. He was the founder. So the Spanish sent, this is one of the park rangers told Mark and I at La Purisma, said that the Spanish sent somebody into California, planted a flag, and then went home and thought, oh, we got that land, but they didn't. And so then they sent in missions, and they actually sent, I think 4 of them had forts related to it, but their whole point, and everything I read, their whole point is to evangelize the natives, make them become Catholic. And the cemeteries are filled with Little White Feather or different names of Native Americans that died. I mean, they died in service. And I remember reading in one of the missions, they were so celebrating when the first indigenous committee member actually joined the church, you know, and HACC, we are at the end of our service, but I think about that after, I think it was 5 years after they established these. But this guy was born in 1713 in Spain, and he was buried in Mission San Carlos Bomario de Carmel, that's Carmel, and he died in he is entombed there, and that's his statue. So here's the 11 I've painted. Actually, I've got 9 of them painted. I need to put a little bit more paint, but it's all the way from San Diego, Carmel, San Luis Obispo, Mission Dolores, which is in a real slum in California, San Francisco. Interesting, I snuck in there and did a painting of a stained glass window. I always go to the gift shop and buy something after so I can help support. And when I was there, I was saying I was painting, and they all said, "Did the priest see you?" And I said, "No." "Oh, did he see me?" "He does not let people paint inside the sanctuary." And I said, "Lucky me," you know. So I bought something and quickly left before they chased me down. Bad, but it was a beautiful old church, very well preserved. Santa Barbara, oh my gosh, you got to go there if you're ever in that neighborhood. La Purisma, Concepcion, it's called the Linear. It's one that was destroyed by an earthquake and moved in more inland. They rebuilt it. Mark got a good tour of it. It's very long. That's the one where the park ranger would not leave me alone and let me paint. Often when I'm painting, people want to come and just hang out with me, and I'm like, okay, my husband's kind of waiting here, but let's talk. There's Soledad. These are the dates when they were established. San Miguel Archangel, that's in Paso Robles, which is just a fantastic part of California. They have everything, olive oil, wines, great places. But that one is the one in the broccoli field. No, that's Soledad, that's the broccoli field. Archangel is right north of Paso Robles. Santa Ynez, it's a really good one. And there's San Francisco de Solano. That's actually in Sonoma. And it's the one, it's owned by the California Park System, and it's kind of like the headquarters. When they found out what I was doing, they insisted that I buy a book. I brought it if anybody wants to see these great watercolors. And Mark bought me the book, actually, and they thought he was my boyfriend, which was really great. That was like 10 years ago, and I thought, yeah, we had already been married 40 years by then, so we're looking good. So I have 10 more to go. Okay, so here's the lesson. This is Santa Ynez. By the way, Biden was just there a few days before I was there. He was there going to church with Hunter. I saw pictures in the paper. But Santa Ynez is located in Solvang, and it was recently in the news, but in my opinion, having a purpose every day of our travel resulted in a feeling of fulfillment, and regardless of the quality of the outcome of my painting. So I think it really does add something if you're going somewhere to have a purpose when you're there. I mean, a lot of times we just go, what are we going to do? And we don't know what we're going to do. But in this case, I wanted to get 6 missions. I only got 5 because the 6th one, which was Carmel, was locked. Who closes a mission on a Tuesday, right? So I have pictures through and I'm going to paint that one off a photograph. I don't like to paint them off of a photograph because it's not the same feeling and I often go in and pray. I often pray when I'm still outside, but they're so old. They're 250 years old, and people still care for them in case they can save them. And they were saved by the state of California, and also the Catholics have, I think, 19 of them. That's right, and the Park Service has 2 that they take care of. So here's more definitions of mission. And let's see what time it is. Okay, a specific task or duty, an assignment or goal that someone The other one is a military or a diplomatic operation, a planned action by military or diplomatic personnel, often to achieve a specific objective. For instance, the soldiers were on the peacekeeping mission. My favorite movie is Jerry Maguire. Have y'all seen Jerry Maguire? Honestly, I love that movie because I really kind of get mission even before I saw Jerry Maguire and before I started painting missions. My whole life has kind of been driven by a statement of purpose, which is what the definition of mission is. It's a statement of purpose, and I think that movie, of course I will admit, in my life I did something kind of like Jerry Maguire, and it ended up about as bad. I wrote a position paper on how they managed my company when I was with a 200-person architecture firm, and some of the leaders didn't like that. I mean, you're not really supposed to write down the mission of how to fix a problem. So here's the big question. Is Harvard Avenue Christian Church a mission? A mission is a building dedicated to a specific purpose, like a mission hospital, like Sei was showing, or a mission school, or a church. In what way is today's church building at HACC serving the community of Tulsa? And today, let's look at the data, but before I dig deep into data, because that'll put you all to sleep, let's start at the beginning. So in 1987, we joined the church, I think in 85. We've been members 40 years, but I was on a committee chaired by Paul McLeod. Oh, I loved Paul McLeod. Did anybody here know Paul McLeod? He was amazing. Paul was assistant superintendent of schools, city of Tulsa. His job was to do strategic planning and long-range planning with schools to figure out which ones to close because people were moving out of the city out into suburbs. You remember this? And he had a terrible job. All he did was facilitate community meetings with parents and teachers and to lead them into understanding why that school building wasn't being utilized and they needed to transfer that building to some other ownership. So when I joined the church, I'm not kidding, within weeks of joining, they handed out a strategic plan that Paul had facilitated. And I immediately went, whoa, I'm going to like this place because they've got it written down. And then, of course, I called Paul as a chairman, I just knew a member of the church, and said, could we have lunch? And this was like 40 years ago. He was kind of hesitant, like maybe I was a begruntled parent or he didn't know. And I said, no, I just want you to teach me how to do long-range planning. And he said, okay. So we went out for pizza, and he showed up with 3 pieces of ruled paper, you know, just like you get ready to go back to school, in pencil, and had written down how to do a long-range plan in his hand. I still have it. I've used it 40 times doing planning for facilities, hospitals, schools, and everybody keeps wanting to type it. I don't want it typed. I want it on that paper that Paul wrote it on. But basically he said in that, taught me that missions are a statement of purpose. They're a reason for being. Goals are never fully obtained, but they provide the aspiration to complete the stated measurable objectives, and objectives are always measurable. And they're required, you have to have an end date. We are going to have at least 400 people in the sanctuary on Sunday at church, Sunday before church. That kind of measurable objective. So It's amazing. In 1985, about the same time, I was elected president of the American Institute of Architects. Boy, I was so young. I was thinking about that today. I wasn't even 30. But I was elected president of the American Institute of Architects, and everybody thought I was kind of young, but I was the only one that could really do it that year. And that was the first thing we did, was hire a planner out of Arizona to come in and teach us how to do mission statements, goals, and objectives. So it all just kind of all flowed together. So here's the 1987 mission statement. The mission of Harvard Avenue Christian Church is to honor and glorify God, create a loving community which proclaims Jesus Christ as Lord and Savior, challenges people to live in commitment to Him, and nurture them in Christian faith and reaches out to those in need. That was in 1987. Very long. Took weeks, hours to talk through whether him was capitalized, whether, I can tell those laughing. You've been in long-range planning meetings. They just go on. You do. Probably should have. In 1993, here's the other plan. This one, Paul talked me into chairing. Notice, did you see on that first one? Notice, the ministers. The minister was, that slide's gone. The minister, well, look at that. Bob Peake, this is the 87 Planning Committee. Bob Peake and Jim Robinson were both the pastors then, which came in, and Bob Peake, boy, that's a name we don't say much, is it? Now, in 87, in 93, it was Don Lanier and Kay Bessler Northcutt. And look at all the people on the committee. Paul was on the committee. And look at others, like James McFarland. That was interesting to be on a committee with my father-in-law. We did great. But anyway, that mission statement was the same. The 93 mission statement was the same as the 87. Here is the current mission statement. Our mission is to inspire one another to live and love like Jesus. Pretty quick. It's elevator talk. Kevin and Diana Baureen were in my office on Thursday. I'm helping them with the task. And I said, I need the mission statement. And I handed my draft PowerPoint to Kevin, and he wrote that right down. I went, that's it? And again, it's kind of like the Paul McLeod, because I gave him my fountain pen, and he tried to do curly T's and things, so I'm going to keep it forever. But so here's the thing. Every group we serve has a mission statement. Last week, Common Good, there's their mission statement. Our mission is we collaborate. So everything we do is serving somebody's mission. Now, Harvard Avenue Church office has a software program, organizes the scheduling of many spaces, and in order to discern how the building's being used, I asked to see that data on Monday morning. I've been crunching numbers. I asked them to pull the data from August the 15th to September the 15th, because I just couldn't, that's a good, they're back in school, it's not going to be an odd time. What did I find out? Let's begin with our aerial view of our existing facility. Oh goodness, can you all, wish I could point. Do you want me to point? I have a, I brought the green one, but it doesn't work. Is it on the side there? Well, there's the pointer in the side.
Okay.
Can you make it work? Yeah, oh, it does work. Oh my gosh.
I can only do a few things. Okay, I can point.
Well, I just wanted to point because I think okay, so I want you to see. Do you see where we are right now? We're right here. So here's the sanctuary, and there's the old part of the church. There's all new. And then this actually is probably Peak Commons. There's our, so here's Harvard, here's the other road, there's our parking lot, there's all of our other parking.
Tinkerbell, okay.
Are you all going too fast? I go fast, I'm sorry. And you all want me to slow down? Just say slow down. Here's the two, yeah. But I think it's important. So I'm going to start right in here, and I'm going to walk you around statistically how we use it. Okay? Start in the activity center. I tell you, I can't remember how many times I was in meetings before we had a gym that we all said, what are we going to do if we have a gym? I mean, we don't have a basketball team. Sounds like a real waste of money. At that point, we didn't even have a church van. And I don't think we have a church van right now, but we had a church van for a while. So anyway, let's start there. During my study period, the gym was used 60 times. That's 1 month, 60 times. They had 18 yoga classes, 13 pickleballs, 9 Zumbas, and which I've been to, it's a good class, 9 Fitness for Life, 4 meetings of the Boy Scouts, Youth Fall kickoff one night, Wednesday night group had 4 meetings in there, and then the Disciples, Trailblazers, and Mentors had an event. So that's a very good amount of utilization. My history was programming spaces more than designing. As I said, I didn't design much, but during programming spaces, in particularly hospitals, you look for utilization. You know, you hear a hospital 60% utilized or 80% utilized. That means there's a patient in a bed paying. So utilization doesn't work in a church. It's just not that kind of thing. But it's good to see this as a very, very actively used space. Other spaces. You know the little spot behind the outdoors place? Many of you may have been there. Zumba uses that 9 times if it's nice weather, which is a great idea. There's a little stage. And the Youth Fall Kickoff used it. I wish it was used more. In the past, we've had some musical events out there, but I'm told it's hard to get the equipment out there, and everybody's just, you know, like, that's too hot in Oklahoma, so maybe it's a bad idea. But we were hoped to be the only church in town that had an outdoor amphitheater, but just didn't reach its full potential. But it could, yeah, it's still out there. And then other spaces. Bride's room is used 5 times. The library is used 25 times. It makes sense. The library's, you know, used for a disciples class, but also there's Mahjong in there, which I've been to that. There's bridge in there. Other groups using this space, which would be the library, would be the International Love group used it, Wednesday Bible Study, Phoenix Women, Discover Harvard Avenue, and Violet Caring Group. So that's pretty good. I mean, those 2 spaces are used well. The chapel, that's where we are. I think it's funny, but okay, we're in the chapel. Calendars meet every week. We had 5 times in the study period that I had. University of Oklahoma Family Resource Training met here twice. It's a misspell. International Love spell checker. Whoa, I may have taken that up a notch. See if I think you should change your name. You could have more Mark. Mark wants to pick up some information if he can. Okay, I'm sorry, Say. Reading Partners, there was one event, family luncheon for the Herndons, and then the Green Country Building Alliance. Betsy, they're here every Wednesday from 7 to 8:30 a.m. Betsy, when I told the Herndon Bill I wanted to do this, Betsy said, why is our parking lot full on Wednesday morning? Now, does anybody know what that group is? It's a TIPS group. We called them TIPS when I was a kid. It's a business exchange. Everybody comes and they get to make a little presentation. They use our room, and I've seen pictures of them online, and they're young, active men, women. I think there were women, mostly men up talking when I saw, but anyway, it's a business alliance group to exchange leads, and it's good, but the parking lot is full on Wednesday. I like that. I like a full parking lot. It looks like somebody wants to come and be a part of our church. I know they are gone. They have to go to work probably, yeah. So church overall, the kitchen was used for events 4 times, which I mean, they use every Sunday, but for big events, and twice, I spelled it right that time, for International Love Dinner. The Disciples Women and the Youth Fall Kickoff, it's used to coffee bar every Sunday. The administrative space is used all the time, but the conference room is fully utilized. The sanctuary was used twice on each Sunday, and 2 celebrations of life. That'd be a total of 10 times in the month of August, September. The Upper Commons was used for 1 reception, and Peak Commons was used for 2 celebrations of life, 4 Boy Scouts gatherings, 1 Disciples Women's event, and 1 AA meeting. AA is using the heck out of the building. You're going to see it here in a minute. That's Alcoholics Anonymous. So I'm back to my little map. So what I just did, let me step back here and see if, and Mark, I'm so glad you found batteries for this. It really works better on that. But basically, right now I've just walked you through basically all of this, including that. So now I'm going to dig into the part that I don't know. When I was on the building committee, we were wondering, what? We need more classrooms because we had 8 or 9 Sunday school classes at the time, and those kind of went away with, I don't know, the pandemic took them away. They were already going away before the pandemic went away for lack of teachers. But anyway, I'm on to the home stretch here. Al-Anon, am I good? Yeah, 9 meetings of Al-Anon. Yeah, and 7 meetings of Alcoholics Anonymous. Al-Anon supports, that's like the supporter. Celebration of Life was 2, Disciples used the space. Children and youth, I don't know much about them. They're under renovation right now. I think they're planning on moving on down and using some of the 2nd floor space, but the children's area is on the 1st floor. It's going to get full because I hear there's more and more kids, and there's no way to expand that. That's going to be a problem. It's known that the number of both youth and children are becoming active as they're both growing. So here's the 2nd level of the education wing. There's 6 classrooms located up there, and as I said, they were located for Sunday school, and it's not used very much. The different classes were used, one of them was used 12 times, 15, one of them was used only 7 times, 14. So utilization, according to Kevin, that's bad, could be impacted by the size of the space. Some of them are too little, he said, and some of them are just the right size, you can tell. And these were designed as traditional Sunday school classes, and the method of Sunday morning class gatherings has changed all of that. Here's how it's used. This must be a music group that Kevin talks about. They use it in after school music. Super Stretchers meets in the evening 13 times. International Love Dinner, 6, they use it for breakouts. And then there's life groups. There's 2 of them on Sunday, 2 of them on Wednesday, and then there's a Wednesday night group for the youth. So, second floor, the Green Country uses it for breakouts. Voices of Oklahoma, Al-Anon, look at that. AA, 11 more use. Boy Scouts, 8. So the Boy Scouts and the young Boy Scouts and the Alcoholics Anonymous, which I understand are maybe older, they all are using the heck out of our building, which is wonderful. It's just like the gym being fully utilized. That's why we have it. And so here's the question. This is the what year was that? There it is, 1797. This was the original bell tower for San Miguel. And I was sitting in that cemetery on this little bench, I have to tell you the story, and this mom and her son and daughter came, and the mom asked if I would take her picture. And of course I said, I will, I take her picture, but I can't move because I have my stuff all set up, and if I move, I won't be able to get it all in the right place. So she and her kids went up, and then they came back and stood next to me. And what are you doing? I said, I'm drawing this. And how long have you been here? An hour. And they said, well, are you hungry? Because lunchtime. And I said, yeah, I think my husband will come find me. And the little 6-year-old girl said, well, can I bring you lunch? And I thought, and this is a mom that's taken her kid. They have a passport club for everybody in California, hitting the passports of all the, and this little girl's got so much love, she's going to feed this stranger. And I said, no, I'll be okay. And the mom looked at her and said, what are you going to bring her for lunch? You know, and there was a taco truck on the other side. She was going to buy me a taco. And to me, that's really emphasizes the mission, the purpose of the mission, and the purpose of everything we do. So the sustainability of these missions is what draws artists to draw them. And over the nearly 50 years, they're still active churches, serving congregations. So do we at church need to do, what do we have to do to have that kind of longevity, 250 years? And church, I think Harvard Avenue Christian Church is a mission, and we have our reason for being is to inspire one another to live and love like Jesus. But with great purpose, this story will continue to next week when Diane and Maureen speaks to all of you. So how'd I do? 5 minutes for questions. What's funny is I woke up this morning, I didn't want to look at my phone because I was afraid there'd be a text to tell me that the teacher was sick. And then I got an awakening that the teacher better not be sick. And I appreciate you all letting me talk. I didn't really mean to do this, but there was a gap and I wanted to share. First of all, I want you all to understand why I'm gone to California 4 more times before I die, at least. And then certainly I want you all to know about how important it is to use our church to its fullest potential. So I can take a question or two, although I talk so fast, I'm sure you all have to absorb this for a while.
Anybody have a question? Yeah.
Oh, my husband has the question. What a surprise. 50 years.
My mission when we went out there this time was to have a better understanding of what really kind of went on politically and culturally with the priests that were there. And they came, and Connie said there was 4 with forts that came, but the idea when they did this was every one of them would have a fort, and they're called presidios, so thus the Presidio in San Francisco. So, but the thing, and you know, I keep thinking, why are these cemeteries so full? What's going on? Well, so much of the native population
Yeah.
became ill and passed away. And that kind of, I mean, I'm not an authority on this, but that kind of changed the whole culture of what was going on there because so many of the Native Americans died. And so I was kind of looking for, well, who's the bad guy in this? You know, what happened here? And, you know, I really don't think there was a bad guy.
Yeah.
It was the Spanish really got excited about doing the missions when the Russians started moving in. So but it was very interesting. And again, I was kind of looking for who the bad guy was, and I'm not sure there was a bad guy.
Well, in many cases, I heard this week on a podcast that many of the places, like in Mexico, they came to take their gold. They didn't even know there was gold in California when they were there. So they weren't taking anything from them, but I also heard they enslaved them, which is why my friends from California don't like what they did. But the bottom line is most of the Native American people I know are Catholic.
Let me just say that I found nothing that really said that anybody was enslaved.
I know.
They really were interested in, and it was the community, you know, they built these missions, and then that became a huge part of the community. So,
well, I do think it connects with our mission because there's still active churches. When I was painting Acala in San Diego, I rushed over there. I found a perfect fire hydrant to hang my purse on, and I'm going to stand out there and paint the bell tower, and it let go of church. It was having an active service inside, and the doors flew open, and there were people everywhere, and I'm out there trying to paint like crazy because I think they're going to throw me off. But anyway, I think when you're sitting out there with you and your paintbrush, you're thinking, this is something. You know, 250 years ago, Spain said, I want more Christians. I want more Catholics. I'm going to make it. And by the way, they're along the coast. I brought my big map. About 30 minutes, as far as a horse could ride in a day, is how long they stretch. That's how they cited them. They didn't cite them in that order they did here and here. But anyway, that's it. Time is. I know that's a lot to take in.
Thank you.
Thanks for staying awake through the data.
Appreciate it.